Welcome back to the Frank Walker Law Podcast, where we talk all things criminal defense and personal injury. So today we're going to talk about all things ARD. Now, ARD stands for the Accelerated Rehabilitative Disposition Program. Don't try to say that fast. It just gets you all jammed up. Just say the ARD program. In Pennsylvania, it's called pretty much the deferral program. It's for first-time offenders. Typically, it's for first-time offenders dealing with a non-violent offense. Maybe it's a theft case. First-time offenders like a DUI. Maybe it's a DUI not involving an accident, but sometimes it's a DUI, just a general impairment. Or sometimes it can be a simple assault, depending on if you have consent. There are different types of crimes that can get into the ARD program, the deferral program. First-time offenders, non-violent. That's the main two things, two prongs you have to meet for consideration of the ARD program. So how do you get into the ARD program? Great question. Typically how it works, you get arrested for a crime. And it's either by you're being arrested at the scene of the crime, or you're getting arrested via summons, meaning they're sending you a very thick envelope to your address and you get notification of it, you get it, and you show up for a preliminary hearing and a preliminary arraignment. This is in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So if you get that letter, you want to contact an attorney immediately. Now, you're going to get letters from attorneys. That's fine. You can call one of them, but you want to contact an attorney and talk about the ARD program if it's your first offense. Now, I always ask this question, have you ever been arrested before? No, I'll say, have you ever been convicted of a crime before? Oh, no, I got arrested, I paid a fine, or, oh, no, I didn't have, nothing big. That's not the question. Have you been convicted of an offense before? If someone has said you are guilty of this, or you've been on probation for something, or you sent back a citation that's a misdemeanor in another state and you paid a fine, I don't care if you paid a fine, you were on probation, you're on house arrest, that is a conviction. It doesn't mean, have you been to jail before? No, not all crimes have an end result of you going to jail. There are crimes that have an end result of you paying a fine, being on probation, or having some type of other deferral program. If you've had that before, you may not be eligible for the ARD program. So it's important to contact an attorney to make sure they're asking the right questions, to make sure you're even eligible for the ARD program. Typically how it works, after you contact an attorney, they'll do a background check to see what's out there. Then they'll go to the preliminary hearing and talk to the prosecutor, the officer, see if there's any reason why you shouldn't be considered for the ARD program. They may say, hey, I need to check with a supervisor. Oh, no, it's too soon. No, there's fines that need to be paid off. There's restitution that needs to be paid off. I need to talk to the victims in this case and get the final amount to make sure they're okay with you being in the ARD program. Because at the end result of the ARD program, it's wiped off your record as if it never happened. So you're not going to get, within 10 years, you're not going to get 2 ARD programs. It's probably not going to happen. Most likely it will not happen. Every 10 years, it's a 10-year look back. If there's nothing within those 10 years, you are eligible for the ARD program. So let's say you had something 11 years ago and it was a DUI and you got an ARD. If you have 10 years of nothing on your record, and then 10 years later, you made a mistake and you got behind the wheel of a car and you, after a party or something, you got arrested for DUI, it may be charged as a second offense, depending on how PennDOT looks at it. It may be charged that way, but if it's within that 10 years, talk to your attorney about being considered for the ARD program. Because again, at the end of the program, whether it be probation, classes, you do some type of community service, you sit on some type of board, you do some AA meetings or whatever, pay restitution, do whatever you need to do to make sure that crime goes away. Do whatever they ask of you. Serve a suspension, maybe a license suspension. You may have to do that. But at the end of the ARD program and the requirements, if that crime, the goal is to get that crime wiped off your record. And if so, then you're moving forward. You're winning. You're ahead of the game. In the beginning, to recap, if it's your first offense within 10 years, contact an attorney, have them do that background check, go to the preliminary hearing, have them have the discussion with all the parties, the victim, the district attorney, the officer. See if you're eligible for it. You may have to wait a little longer after the preliminary hearing, maybe towards the formal arraignment. Have an attorney write a letter to a supervising district attorney and say, hey, my client should be considered for the ARD program for these reasons. They're working. It's their first time offense. They have a family. They can't afford a conviction because of this. They have a very strong ties to the community. This is a one-off. This is not who they are. This is a mistake. It may take some pushing to get into that program, but the goal, again, is to get in, do what's required of you, and get out. Because once you get out, it's wiped off your record. Again, any questions about the ARD program or anything else, criminal defense related or personal injury related, give us a call, 412-532-6805, or visit us online at frankwalkerlaw.com.